right, what's going on YouTube? I want to go ahead and make this kind of like a quick tutorial. Basically, I just kind of want to show you the workflow of how I start to finish a video. We're going to go ahead and start off on the desktop. Basically, what I do is I create a brand new folder and I name that to whatever I'm doing. Everybody has their own way of doing things. This is how I do it. So basically, I will create a new folder, and so what I'm doing here is I'm actually already editing a video for the Canon 28mm f2.8. So we're going to use this as an example, starting off with creating a new folder on the desktop. I actually already have one made, but I'm basically just going to show you kind of what I do. I create the folder and I drag the talking head shot, the audio, and then, like I said, I already have a folder for this made, but basically, you would also do the same thing. So you have your photos, you have your edited photos, you have your videos, everything is all in one folder. So basically all you have to do is just either open that up and drag it into your editing software. I use DaVinci Resolve, or if you use Premiere Pro, I don't necessarily remember how it works in Premiere. I've used it a couple of times. I don't like Premiere, but that's just me. Anyways, so once you have your folder set up with all of your video, audio, pictures, B-roll, whatever you need, you're basically going to go ahead and open up your editing software. And then what I do is I basically go through, I'll drag the talking headshot in the audio first, and I'll just go ahead and make sure that those are both synced up. With DaVinci Resolve, you can kind of expand the audio so this way you can see where the sync marks are. I use a finger snap like that. I know some people like to clap. I don't like clapping because I feel that that's kind of obnoxious, but that's just me. Once you have your audio synced up, you're going to go ahead and turn your camera audio all the way down to 0, so this way you don't have any echo or any background noise or anything like that, and then trim it to where you want. And this is where it becomes pretty self-explanatory. So basically what I do is I go through and I edit my audio. Now, as far as editing audio goes, this is really up to the person. I have a bunch of stuff that's already preset for my audio setup, basically. So basically when I bring it in, I go to channel, I go to dialogue processor, and then I use, which I have set up as Excite. But if you go to like male or female voiceover, just turn off derumble, depop, DS, compressor, expander, and leave Excite on. If you're feeling frisky, you can also put the compressor and the expander on. And that is for the dialogue processor. Then I go to my dynamics, and then I go to multi-band compressor. I already have a bunch of pre-saved preset ones for different mics and audio recording situations. But basically, for each one of these, there's band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4. You can turn each one of those off and on, and then you can kind of adjust your gain threshold, your limit, to where you need it to be. And then you'll basically be in the ballpark for having some crispy audio. And then I use de-esser in the restoration tab. Again, I already have a bunch of like presets, things that I have saved here for my different microphones. But mostly, especially for males, I use male ESS. And then at the range, the frequency range, I change it to the little V symbol. And then I kind of move it around until I find out where I need it to go. As far as dynamics go with DaVinci Resolve, they updated it, so you really don't have to do too much with this. DaVinci Resolve put in a bunch of stuff on a bunch of their updates. So like you got dialogue compressor, which is like a basic one. Then you have compressor, expander, full expander, soft knee, and then music pumper. And then as far as the EQ goes, this is probably one of my favorite things because it actually does pretty well. DaVinci Resolve also added in its own little like default pre-saved stuff in here. So I basically just choose dialogue male, and then I just kind of let that ride. And it actually sounds pretty good. So I don't really have to go through and do a lot of stuff for that. And then I go to the color tab, and then I shoot with Canon C-Log, but if you're shooting with 8-bit or like a baked-in color profile, you don't really have to do a whole lot because those videos are normally already kind of pretty decent. If you're interested, just let me know. I can do like I'll try to do like a short form content tutorial on that. But basically, you just want to go through and edit your video for how you like your style to look. I like mine to look like it's full of color. I don't really like that desaturated, decontrasted look, but that's just me. And then I will use my vector scope, and basically what the vector scope will do is it'll give me my skin tone indicator line, and then I just try to match up the skin tone indicator line to my vector scope, and then that's pretty much it. Basically, once you have your audio edited and your video colorized or colored, you can basically just go through, and basically at this point, all you're doing is you're removing the ums and the uhs, or you can leave them in if you want. You know, it's up to you. I used to try to cut out all the uhs and ums, but I just got to the point where I didn't care anymore. So there's that. And then any like quiet parts, or like, you know, if you stop to talk breathing, or if you're reading off a teleprompter, you just want to go through and you want to edit all that stuff out. And then basically you're going to take all of your B-roll, all of your photos, you're going to put those into the timeline, and then you're basically just going to go through the video, find out where you need to put B-roll, find out where you need to put your photos, your videos, and that's pretty much it. I mean, if you want to do text, you can go through and add text like what I'm doing here. And then as far as editing the B-roll content, depending, you know, if you're shooting with something, like I said, that has an 8-bit color baked in profile, you don't really necessarily need to do a whole lot. But if you're shooting with something like C-Log, like on my Canon R5, then you're probably going to want to go ahead and edit that up a little bit. And that's pretty much it. I mean, realistically, it's not a super quick process, but I mean, basically you drag everything into a folder, and then if you want, you can go ahead and add subfolders, like one for photos, one for B-roll, one for audio, all that stuff, and then drag those into your editing software. You want to edit your audio, you want to color your video, and then you basically just want to go through, which is the most time-consuming part, which is adding your B-roll and your photos and text into the timeline where you need it. And at the end of the day, you should have a video. And that's it, guys. Hopefully this helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will answer them to the best of my ability. If you'd like to see me make a video on how to color some like 8-bit video or whatever, just drop a comment in the comment section and I will probably make a video for that. All right, guys, catch you later. Peace.